name is Jesse from Trash Panda, and I'm currently making a fully recycled disc. In part 2 of this series, I'm going to start building the machines that I need in order to recycle plastic. But before I start building, there's a question that demands an answer. How do you make a disc? In the extensive research that I've done, there's really 2 places that have helped me a ton in learning how to make a disc. The first is the disc golf community through disc golf forums. While there's surprisingly little from the leading disc companies, people in the disc golf community have talked on forums for years about how discs are made and helped educate me. The second is a company called Precious Plastic, which is basically a collection of people, machines, platforms, and knowledge working to create an alternative recycling system. Put simply, they educate people about recycling plastic, create open source designs for machines that recycle plastic, and give away the tools needed to do it yourself. In addition to all of that, they've cultivated a community of people who contribute daily on their forums. So before even touching on how to make a disc, I just want to say that I am indebted to the disc golf community and the Precious Plastic community. Obviously, you can find links below. Because of them, I now know how to make a recycled disc. So here's the steps I've decided on. First, I'm building a shredder and an injection machine. I'll talk about both more in a second. Second, I need to design and create custom disc molds. Third, I'll use all those tools together to create a disc. So let's talk about the Precious Plastic machines. Precious Plastic has made videos about how to build the shredder and how to build the injection machine. However, they're pretty simplified. That being said, the majority of the community is also in Europe. And so there's quite a few problems I've already run into simply trying to resource materials here in the US. Hopefully, as I solve these problems, it'll help others like me in a similar situation trying to build these machines. So first up, the shredder. The shredder is what I'll use to do exactly that, shred plastic. I'll be able to take big pieces of recycled plastic, throw them in, and turn them into finer flakes. The parts include the base, the hopper, the shredder, and the motor. And that's in order of difficulty. The base and the hopper are like a piece of birthday cake. They don't have to be exact, and I can make them according to my specifications. The shredder itself needs to be precise, so I'm gonna have a laser cutter do this. I have found people on YouTube trying to make it simpler and more approachable for DIYers. However, I haven't found anything conclusive, and to be honest, I just don't feel comfortable with my skill set and the amount of precision right now. The motor is an entirely different subject. Precious Plastic gives these specs for a motor, but I'm working on 120 volt and in the US, so it's been really hard for me to find those exact specifications. For example, the ideal motor is 2 horsepower at 70 RPMs, but I've only really been able to find 3/4 horsepower at 1760 RPMs. That's way off. Through a ton of aggravating research, I'm currently trying to work out this problem, so stay tuned. But if you know anything about motors or have any suggestions, please let me know in the comments below. That would be so helpful. With all of that figured out, I'll have shredded up plastic that's ready to be injection molded, which brings us to the injection machine. To my fellow disc golfers out there, have you ever wondered why there's that little ring with the dot on the bottom of every disc? That tells you that it was made with an injection mold. An injection machine melts shredded up plastic and pushes it into a mold. Now, a mold is basically a steel chunk with a negative inside. In my case, that negative will be a disc. When the melted plastic is pushed in, it'll form to the shape of a disc, and then it'll cool in place. If everything goes perfectly, I'll be able to open up that mold and have a fully recycled disc. The parts include the barrel, the nozzle, the hopper, the framework, and the electronics. Again, in order of difficulty. The barrel, the hopper, and the nozzle should be a relatively easy customization of basic parts. The framework is slightly specific because of the amount of downward pressure when you are injecting. The electronics, according to Precious Plastic, should be relatively easy. I've ordered all the parts, but I've listed this as the hardest for me because electronics is not my area of expertise. Once all this is done, all I need is to order custom molds that will attach to the injection machine, and then we're ready to make a disc. In my optimistic head, this should go relatively smoothly, but I've made stuff for long enough to know there will probably be 100 problems along the way. Obviously, I owe so much to Precious Plastic. They have made this so simple, and without them, I really wouldn't be able to make these machines. They've made everything you need to make these machines completely free on their website. I've linked below to a place where you can find videos, blueprints, CAD files, and so much more. So let's start making the machines. Okay, that's where we're gonna cut it for this video. As you can see behind me, the bases for the shredder and the injection machine are basically done, and we're ready to continue building upward. Now, getting into this, I thought I'd know where each video was gonna end, but I really don't. The more I work on it, the more I'm realizing each video is just gonna end where it ends. So part 2 is ending right here. Part 3 will continue where we left off. Make sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time.